Hey everyone, welcome to 10 Treasures in 10 Minutes. I'm going to go over the top 10 items that sold in my eBay store for the month of May 2020. So I'm going to share my eBay screen here, show you some tabs, bring it over to that in just a moment here. We'll start off with number 10 and work our way back up. The first one here sold for $50. This is a Michael Turner signed print of Kiani, comes from 2007. It's signed not only by the artist Michael Turner, but also by the artist Peter Steigerwald. Now, if you see anything with the name Michael Turner on it, I've said this for a long time, pick it up. Very popular artist, and he passed away way too early. So especially if you found anything signed, pick it up. I laugh because I say this all the time, and just this weekend when I was at a garage sale, I saw some Michael Turner comic books, but they were damaged. But nevertheless, always be on the lookout. $50 for this one. I got it at a collector's private estate sale pick that I set up through Craigslist. The next one over here, these are some Toy Biz action figures through Marvel. Now, the Toy Biz line has action figures that, you know, they don't usually go for a ton of money. You might find some that go for $30 to $40 once in a while, maybe a little bit more, but there's a lot of low value ones. But you know, you might pick them up in a big lot with some other valuable toys like I did here. So by the time I got around to selling these were all profit for me, and it wasn't worth it to sell them individually. So I bunched them all up and I sold them for $68.75. These are light. They stack easily in a box. Just make sure you protect them so they don't get damaged. And you could do well on these, but they have to be part of a lot purchase, and you definitely need to bundle them together. So that's that one. I got that also at a private estate sale pick that I set up through Craigslist. If you're wondering how to do that, I have videos about that on my channel. This here came from a garage sale. I talked about it recently, showed it recently in several of my YouTube videos. I showed you how to clean stubborn chalk off of this sign because there was a lot of that on there. And this is not only chalk on the bottom for the base, this has glass on the top, and it's a wood frame. Now, a lot of people would shy away from this, but the thing I want you to keep in mind is don't get scared away from big items, especially if they're long like this. Big, long, even if they're heavy items, the thinness of it is what really helps out with this. You can see here how thin it is. And the shipping on this, believe it or not, was less than $10. So that was awesome. And that's priority mail. I also show you how to create a Frankenbox on my channel to ship out an item like this. So this one sold for the price you see, $85. Very happy with that one. Anything beer related, I love it. Now we're going to go on to some comic books. These are some Walt Disney comic books. They're golden age books for the most part from the 1950s. Now, a lot of people make a mistake in that they come across an old 10-cent issue like this and they think that they found one of them and now they're worth a fortune. They're not for the most part. You really have to bundle a lot of these cartoony ones up to make it worth your while. These 26 comic books right here sold for $90. I got them for 10 cents a piece at an estate sale as part of a larger bundle of Golden Age comic books. So not bad for a $2.60 investment. Notice, again, I've shown this many times, how I stack the books just like this to grab attention. And then in your subsequent pictures, you could display them in piecemeal chunks like this to give people a better view of it. Don't worry about the stains and the creases and the damage for these old books like this. If you have them in lots, they will still sell. Next one over here, Mad magazines. I've shown these many times on my channel, but what I want to point out about this particular lot, and I mentioned it in a video recently, is that these sold for less than what I normally get for the ones from the 60s to 70s range, sometimes including a few from the 1950s. For those, I could usually get about $175 to $200 for them, but these being primarily a 1980s lot, I wound up getting $120 for them. Note here on the bottom that I make a particular point to put in characters that would grab the most attention. They would be the most iconic of the bunch, and then I just, pull them out there. And I also show a stack like this to give a sense of scale and perspective. And then again, I bunch out these smaller ones in little chunks just to show people some of the additional ones. But $125 for these, not bad, since I sourced them for less than $1 at estate sales and flea markets last year. You saw that in many of my haul videos. This is similar to the theme I was talking about with the Disney books, those Walt Disney ones. Lone Ranger comics, same thing. If you find one of them or two of them, you're usually not going to get a ton of money for them. But these, I wound up selling these for $115. So that's not bad for 10 comics that I, again, sourced in that same lot. They came in the same bundle that the Walt Disney ones were in. So again, 10 cents a piece. So there you're turning, what is that? 10 books. So $1 into, $115. So definitely happy with that one right there. So we're going to move on to the next one here. This is the Afghan that I showed recently. I picked this up for $5 at an estate sale and turned around and sold it pretty quickly for $125. With Afghans, you're definitely looking for these granny squares that you could see here. Look at just those bright colors. I mean, really stands out. So, handmade custom items like this. As you probably saw from my recent haul video, I am really on the lookout this year for a lot of these crocheted blankets, quilts, those types of items. Very, very excited about these types of pieces. The more colorful, the better. The bigger, the better for sure. Try to get these overhead shots if you can, and then, zoom in and get some more narrow pictures of the designs. That also helps as well. But again, very, very nice profit flip on that one. I did a whole video on this one in the beginning of May. I talk about the history of Bionicles. That's what these are. These were literally going to be thrown out at the end of the day as garbage. My wife, Mrs. Primetime, found them. We were going to have them to be used by my son, Primetime Jr., but he never really gravitated towards them, and they wound up sitting around in this thing. This is what we found them in at the end of a garage sale. We got these, believe it or not, for just $3 and wound up turning around and selling this for $150, the price you see, and they sold pretty quickly. So very, very happy with these. Again, if you want to learn more about the history of Bionicles, they're Lego specific toys, definitely go and check out my video, which is entitled How I Turned Someone's Garbage into, or Sold Someone's Garbage for $150. Lots of money in Legos in general, and you could sell them by the pound. And don't worry, this goes for Legos and also the Bionicle pieces. You could sell them even if, they're random pieces all kind of jumbled together like that. Next one is the DVDs here that I sold, and I sold these for $350. This was a really nice flip. I wound up getting them for $50. So I got these through looking at an ad on Facebook Marketplace. And so I saw someone was selling these, and I did a whole video on how to actually get this display out, how to make the most of your space. So if you didn't see that video, go check it out on how I did this with getting this all on the table, all 86 of these DVDs here. I mean, this was just a really, really nice flip. And remember, with DVDs, they could ship out media mail, so that will definitely cut down the cost of shipping. I think the shipping on this total was $20. So not bad at all for something, because it was really heavy. And I showed you the box I put it in and everything. And lastly, I did a separate video on these. These are the Avengers comic books. Sold them off in a big lot. Individually, there really wasn't anything that was worth that much, except this one here. I kept this one out specifically. This is a key issue, Avengers number 87, which talks about the origin of Black Panther, who you may know through the Marvel Comics movies. But individually, if I tried to sell them, you could look these up yourself. They really wouldn't go for that much money. And so bundling them together like this was really where it was at, and was the thing to do. The display helps as well. And again, then just bunching them out in little lots. $500 for these, sourced for 10 cents a piece. Again, these came through an ad I placed on Craigslist, and this was from the guy who ran the Got Junk company that I've talked about before. He worked for the Got Junk company, and he was storing all this stuff away. So comic books are really hot. As you can see here, social media comic book sales soared during the pandemic, so be on the lookout for these. If you like this video and the new format of keeping things in that 10-minute range, 10 treasures, I could do other ones like this as well, just let me know. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to see you back at the next one, everyone. Take care.